Hey guys, as you may have been seeing recently, a lot of pro players have been building Cultist Sacrifice, especially in Deadlock Fight Night, and today's video will serve as an explanation as to why so many people are building this item and why you should build this item as well. If you end up enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe because I'm plan on and have some more educational content about Deadlock on my YouTube channel. And I also do offer coaching, so if you want to get coaching from me, it is a paid service unfortunately. It should be in the pinned comment or in the description of this video. Before we get into why this item is so good, it's important that we discuss the stats and the benefits that this item gives. So as a context and a precursor, people were not building Cultist Sacrifice as much as they were until the hotfix on the 19th came out. And what that hotfix essentially did is it made Cultist Sacrifice persist through death, which was a big problem with the item. When you had Cultist Sacrifice and you ate a minion camp, as you'll see here, when you died with the buff, you would lose the buff. But now, if you end up dying as any character, you'll still have the buffs. So you see here, the fire rate 25%. I'm gonna respawn and I still have it. So that's one reason as to why more people are building this item now than before the patch, but it's not really the main reason. So yep, you keep the buff through death. What it gives you is it gives you weapon damage versus NPCs, it gives you bull resist versus NPCs, combat regen, and the buff itself gives you 25% fire rate, 250 bonus health, and 15% ability range. So when you do consume enemy creep or an enemy jungle camp, the buff that you get is pretty valuable. And in context of how much the item is worth, I would say that it is pretty good value as well. I mean, the stats are very, very good, if not better than some 3.2k items in Deadlock. This item also builds out of monster rounds, which is oftentimes built in the laning phase. It's a very, very, very good item for laning phase because it allows you to clear the wave quicker and it gives you that small 1 out of combat regen. So the first reason as to why this item is so good revolves around the idea that towers, when you deal damage to them, that health is not regeneratable. So if I shoot this turret here, you'll see that that damage that I'm dealing to the turret, it'll never regenerate back. I believe the only structure in Deadlock that regenerates HP is a downed patron. Maybe even not a downed patron. I don't know, honestly. Now I'm like tired right now. I just woke up. But what Cultist Sacrifice does is it inherently gives you more damage to structures and turrets and walkers and base guardians, because weapon damage versus NPCs is weapon damage versus structures and creeps. So it's both of those. Now, what a lot of people did before is they built Headhunter. And Headhunter was good because you could harass your opponent in lane. But what I've been realizing as a player is that more and more as we progress through this meta, it's a lot harder to kill characters in lane because you have items like Resto Shot, you have items like Heal Nova, you have items like Mystic Regeneration. There's a lot of ways that characters can sustain their lane and not die. And as players get better and better, they will probably be able to live like more and more and more in lane. Something that doesn't change and that is static is the turret, and how the turret acts and how damage to turrets doesn't regenerate. So while, your Headhunter buy might be good if you want to try to win the lane, that damage you're going to deal with Headhunter is going to be regenerated on the enemy. Like when you damage them with the Headhunter, they're going to regenerate it. However, the damage that you deal to the enemy turret with Cultist Sacrifice is not regeneratable. The tower is not going to buy heal rate. This damage is permanent. And also, in pursuit of damaging the tower, Cultist Sacrifice gives you more damage to enemy minions, right? So you're going to be able to clear the wave quicker with Cultist Sacrifice, and you're going to be able to deal more damage to the turret with Cultist Sacrifice. Another big implication with this item that kind of ties in with this first reason is that the buff that you get from Cultist Sacrifice, this fire rate, allows you to deal more damage to the turret and allows you to clear the wave quicker. The reason for that is that you get fire rate. The three most important stats, or few most important stats when it comes to taking the turret, is how much damage your gun deals and how quick you're going to shoot your gun. So think about it. Cultist Sacrifice gives you like super high weapon damage versus the turret, and it gives you fire rate to like amplify that super high weapon damage towards the turret to like get it off quicker, right? So this item The best reason that I can give as to why this item is so good is because its ability and power that it gives you to take turrets quicker. The next reason as to why this item is so good is that when you look at this item at first glance, you'll realize that, oh, it doesn't really give me any weapon damage towards players, or like if I fight someone with Cultist Sacrifice, like yeah, I'll have the buff probably, but like it's not making me stronger versus opponents. That is wrong. When you buy Cultist Sacrifice, it gets you to that 3.2k threshold. Exactly. So you see Cultist Sacrifice at that 3.2k threshold. And when you look at the thresholds, 800 is a 7% threshold, 1.6k is 9%, 2.4k 13, 3.2k 20. The jump from 2.4k to 3.2k is a 7% jump, and that 7% jump doesn't exist anywhere from 800 to 1.6 or from 1.6 to 2.4. So like that is, like, in my opinion, like a spike in a jump for a weapon investment. I'm pretty bad at like explaining these number things like with the investments, but essentially like this spike, the 3.2k weapon investment, is a big jump and a significant jump. So when you rush this item in lane, you're going to immediately have 20% weapon damage. And this ties into the first point that I was talking about, because guess what? You have 35% weapon damage versus NPCs. You have the 25% fire rate buff from Cultist Sacrifice. And now you have another 20% weapon damage, which will apply to both NPCs and players, which will allow you to shove the wave quicker and take the turret faster. So, like, this is literally the turret shredder item. Like, when you have this item, it is much, much more worthwhile to be hitting the turrets than the players. Like, if anything, you're, like, losing on value from the item if you're hitting players versus turrets with this item. So, yeah, that's the second reason. Another reason as to why this item is so good is that it makes the process of invading very, very, very easy. So it makes invading easier because it gives you weapon damage versus like creeps, the jungle camps and stuff like that. But when you go eat the camp, it's an instantaneous invade. So usually like when you go invade, you gotta do like this, right? But your invades, you could just only invade like at the timers with your Cultist Sacrifice. So like this could be your invade here. You take the camp and then just leave. And then that's your invade. The enemies really can't do anything to you when you walk up and eat a camp like that. There's nothing that they can do whatsoever. Now they could stop you from running away, of course, right? But they can't like parry like the jungle creep when you're eating it or something like that and stop the eat. This eating is inevitable. Like when you press your E or whatever your item is keybinded to, and you eat the creep, it is gone. It's inevitable. There is nothing that they can do. So that's another reason as to why Cultist Sacrifice is really good. Final reason as to why Cultist Sacrifice is so good is because it used to be able, so before it got hotfixed again, I think it was like on the 21st or something, you could have permanent uptime with Cultist Sacrifice and like a superior cooldown item. Now they nerfed it, so as you can see here, when I hover over it with superior cooldown, it's a 192-second cooldown and 160-second duration. So I mean, it's only a 30-second downtime, which is still really, really, really good. But this last reason is that you can keep the uptime of Cultist Sacrifice basically like 24/7. Obviously, it's like a 30-second downtime now, but I think that is still, in my opinion, like 24/7 basically. All you have to do is just not fight for 30 seconds when you don't have your Cultist Sacrifice, and I think with a pretty coordinated team, it's very easy to do that. So you'll see here as well that I have Enchanter's Emblem, and this will reduce the cooldown a little further, but it doesn't show on the item active for some reason. So this number should be a little less than 192. So we'll eat it and see what the number is. 179. So when you have both superior cooldown and Enchanter's Emblem, 179, it's about a 20-second downtime instead of a 30-second downtime. So 20 seconds is even more reasonable to assume, like that your team can just not fight within your 20-second Cultist Sacrifice downtime window. But yeah, so this item is essentially up 24/7 when you have both of these items here, and both these items are extremely good. Enchanter's Emblem is like one of the most OP items in the game, and superior cooldown can work on many, many different characters, especially characters like Yamato, Pocket, maybe Holiday, etc., etc. So that's all I have to say about Cultist Sacrifice. I realized after watching back I said like about 100 million times, but that is completely fine. So if you enjoyed today's video, once again, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe, whatever. And come hang out on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Poshypop. And yeah, so I'll see you guys later.